Welcome to the Leading Second podcast, a space to help church leaders thrive in the second chair. Today's conversation will help you embrace your calling, get it right with your pastor, and lead in an uncommon way. Let's jump in.
Well, Leading Second, welcome back to the Leading Second podcast. My name is Brandon Stewart. I'm actually joined by Lindsay Stewart.
Hello.
Today for an exciting episode of the Leading Second podcast. We're so glad you're here. If you lead from the middle in any capacity, you lead, but you're not in charge. You sit in the second chair on your church team. Leading Second is for you. So welcome back. We're so glad you're here. And hey, it is a big day.
It's a big day.
In the Leading Second tribe. Today is the release of our new book, our first book.
First one.
Lead It Like You Own It. Come on, somebody. It's here. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Survived.
You did it.
It's time to party.
It's time to party.
You accomplished it.
And so I brought some of the greatest people, or at least the greatest voices I know, onto the podcast today.
We definitely try.
Help us celebrate today on a great day for the tribe. I'm here with some of Leading Second's best. First of all, Matt Martin from NorthRock Church here today.
So excited to be a part of this incredibly awesome, magnificent day.
Magnificent. Wow.
Man, what you are launching and releasing today is worth celebration. So congratulations on getting the book to this point.
I absolutely blame you for this.
I will take it.
Lindsay and I were headed to breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was maybe 18 months ago or whenever it was. We were headed to breakfast, just having a normal day. I don't know how we ended up on the phone with you or whatever it was. And you started telling us about your book, and you have a great book out called Notice What Matters, and the book writing process. And something came over me, and I thought, I think it's time to do it. And I blame you.
I will take full credit for that blame. And I remember hanging up, going, "Oh God, I think he's going to do this."
Yep.
And it's because of what I've told him now.
Yeah.
I hope this works.
You're responsible.
I felt the weight.
Underplayed what it was.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Bible tells us we're supposed to count the cost before we build the tower. You did not help me count the cost.
Yeah. But you're better and stronger on the other side of it because of that.
There's no lie there. I'm glad you're here to help us celebrate today. And we have Jon Hatto from Hillsong, Canada, Hillsong, Toronto.
Super excited.
Yeah.
Super excited for this. This has been a journey. It's been an amazing journey to kind of be in the zone, listening, to some of the ideas that you've been bringing out. And so we're really excited to be able to read this book and get it out to our people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're excited about it today, and more than just a self-congratulatory party here. That's not really the purpose of this episode. The purpose of this episode is to tell you about it and what are we aiming to do with Lead It Like You Own It, and how could this help your church team. I think we hope to create a resource here that will help church leaders everywhere. Yeah. Lindsay, you have been an author's widow.
That's real.
I don't know.
Pastor Sheila told us that recently.
I don't think there's an official title, but it was one I didn't know I had, but I did have it for about a year.
There's some stretches. We'll talk about this, but there's some stretches you get into in the writing where there was one weekend toward the end, I literally told her some version of or at least in my mind, I was thinking she's got to just think I'm on a trip. I'm gone. I don't have a home office right now even. So I have to leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. Wouldn't get back until after the kids are in bed. Yeah. Just head down working. So this is definitely your project.
You had to wrestle through it, you know.
Yeah.
You have
and
to
they
do
give
that.
you these deadlines, and they make it sound so ominous on the other side of it.
I know.
If you do not get this done by then, it will push the process.
I know.
Months and money, and you're like, oh God, I got to get it done.
I know. So anyways, I'm going to turn the keys over to you guys, and I'd love to talk about it.
Yeah. So again, as we said, congratulations on this. One of the things, there are 42 million book titles on Amazon. And one of the things about that is most people, if you've never written a book, you don't think much about a title.
It's true.
Until you have to write it, and then the publisher and the editors are asking you questions, and you have an idea, and you kind of kick this, and you tell one person this one you're in love with,
And they
just
look at you like it's so dumb.
Yes, like you are dumb as a box of rocks, and they just stare at you. So then you're like,
first of all, the creative process in general, is like showing someone your underwear drawer.
yes, it is.
I mean, it's like, here's where I'm at, and people are extremely underwhelmed.
Yes,
usually,
because you have been living with it in your head, and all of a sudden it comes out, and you have a few true fans around you, like you know, your mama always believes in you,
right?
But then it falls off pretty quickly after that. Or you say the title, the working title, and they just they're waiting for more, and you're like, okay. So let's talk about that just for a second, because the book is Lead It Like You Own It.
First of all, if your friend ever writes a book, can you please make a big deal about it?
Yeah.
Because you don't know. It's one of those things where you don't know what it's like until you've done it.
That's exactly right.
And they have paid more of a price, and it feels more personal to them than you probably realize.
Well, I know we've joked about it feeling like, kind of like birthing a baby. Yeah. And I know that
I wasn't going to actually use that analogy today.
But I think it's a really fair analogy, because now I'm being on the other side of it. It is a lot of work that's unseen by anyone else. And it's a lot of mental work, and it's a lot of physical work that nobody else sees. So I think it's a fair analogy, honestly, of getting this idea, this thing that God's put in you out.
I just want every woman to know you said it, not me.
I know, and I know that I'm going to get some hate. I know it. But,
I want that clear.
But
so the title of Lead It Like You Own It is probably at least the third.
Because you didn't even start close to there.
And you don't even write a title at the beginning, period.
You do not.
Right? You just get going with the ideas. Yeah. One idea was the ownership shift.
Okay.
Which I began to realize I was going to have to work on my enunciation, or I was going to be on the verge of cussing.
Yes.
Every single time I talked about the book. So, and that one actually spoke to the ideas of the book.
Yeah.
Just didn't feel like it was strong enough. What were some of the other ones? I'm trying to remember.
I think you just wanted to call it like
there
leading
was
second too. I mean, like
I thought about, is this
like
just leading second?
Right.
Constitution.
Yeah. Well, because it also started as just, I would say it's like a culmination of the last 20 years of ministry of leading second. So it's kind of like, is this just like leading second? Yeah. That's where it started.
Owners in the middle.
Yeah,
was
I remember that one.
Remember that one?
I remember that one. Yeah.
All of those kind of had that mixed reaction from people.
Yes. It is funny because once you become convinced on that title, it doesn't take long to start becoming unconvinced of the title.
Well, yes. So there's one more layer that happened. So I called Pastor Kevin, and I want to say I presented the ownership shift.
No,
or one of them. And we were texting, and he was like, "Can I be honest?" He was like, you know what?
That's what you want to hear about your project that you poured your heart and soul into.
And he's like, "Can I be honest?" Kind of like the permission to ask feedback. Yeah. He's like, "It's weak." And I was like, okay. Like, he goes, so just to give credit, Pastor Kevin actually came up with the title.
Yes.
He goes, "I think you need something like Lead It Like You Own It."
Yes.
He said, "It's bold.
Yep.
It's in your face." He said, "It has the voice of a coach."
Yeah.
Which is what you are.
Right.
And so it sat with me, but it was very in your face. So that was kind of one thing. But then you would not believe the amount of discussion that happened around the first it. Okay. So that's Lead It Like You Own It. Yes. Right. And several people.
I would be one of them. Hayden. I think Hayden's one of them.
Wanted it to be Lead Like You Own It. Okay, so Lead Like You Own It, Lead It Like You Own It.
So just a quick time out here. Your manuscript has 60,000 words in it. And we get hung up on one word in the title.
No,
this is the process.
The word it.
This is part of the pain.
Yeah.
And can I tell you the amount of people that weighed in on that word? Like a dozen or more people were involved in deciding if the first
made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to your point, the book has this 60,000 word count limit. And I am proud to say that the book ended up at 59,970 words.
Wow.
So I
That's close.
I cut, it was more than that.
Yes.
And I cut and trimmed to get 30 words under that, target. And it's a substantial book. That's a long book.
Yes.
In other words, but proud of it. And believe it or not, there's actually probably 30 or 40,000 words in another document that all got cut. What's funny, I don't think this is like trade secret or something, but they call it.
Hey, this episode is supported by Goff Companies, a construction and planning team that serves churches across the U.S. What sets Goff Companies apart is that they don't start with blueprints, they start with your ministry vision. Their team includes pastors, architects, and builders who help churches plan, design, and build facilities that actually support ministry how you want it. From strategic planning to financing to the construction management, they walk with church leaders every step of the way. So if you're thinking about expanding or building in the future, learn more at goffcompanies.com.
So there's a phrase when you're writing, they call it, you got to kill your darlings.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
You got to kill you. Like there's going to be writing that you write that you really love and you're kind of attached to, but you got to kill it. It doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit.
Doesn't work.
You're forcing it. You want it to work.
They had me start a separate document called the Hospital for Darlings. Isn't that awful? The Hospital for Darlings. And I got to tell you, the hospital's got a lot of darlings in it right now. It's a full hospital and then you repurpose it other ways.
And you're proud of some of those darlings that are in there.
They're wonderful. They're beautiful. They just did not fit this. So we got it down. It's a substantial book, but we're excited about
it. And it's part of the, we'll get into this in just a moment, part of the writing process as you put content down and you have to take content out, but you think you will get used to the editing process until you have two layers of editors, and you get to that second layer and you realize they're not the nice kindergarten teacher had at the first one.
That's right.
This is the college professor that's kind of rude, crude, and really doesn't care if you turn it in or not. And you're like, I need more, but you're just being mean to me the whole time. Was kind of the.
And they're like demanding an explanation.
They're demanding why did you do this there?
We wrote through the same publishing group.
Yes,
and I want to say there's probably at least 5 or 6 main editors throughout the process. So you're right. The positioning and what are called the developmental editors are nice. And they're kind of there to hold you accountable, keep you moving.
Pat you on the back.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting process. You write. And then they say, don't look at my comments. Just come back to them later, whatever. But then you get to revisions.
Yeah.
And it's like the knives come out.
Yeah.
The real comments come because you have to take what you kind of wrote there and you have to make it a book. Yeah. And it's hard.
One quick thing on that is you write that first draft basically, and they're making comments. You're turning in, you have to pick a day, a 7 or 10 day window typically, and you're turning in content every 7 to 10 days.
Right.
Just constantly turning it in. And they're making comments and edits, and they're telling you typically if it's red over here, kind of what was terrible and why that won't work. And they tell you cannot touch it. You go nearly 20 weeks knowing that is gnawing on you in the back of your mind going, there's content I have to go rewrite and I can't fix it this week. So those with that perfectionism personality, it is so brutal. It is brutal on that.
But I love that you're kind of explaining this process because I feel like it really explains why was this difficult. Yeah. It's not just the getting out, but it's the fine tuning and the honing of what actually is being said.
This book was a labor of love, and you never know what that meant. And now you realize, this person carried this thing over the line for a while.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's even go back a step before the title. I mean, what was the motivator? Like, who were you thinking of when you were, when Matt was convincing you to write a book? What was the motivating factor? Who were you hoping to reach with it?
Good.
Well, a couple of things. I mean, for me, number one, God has been really good to our ministry, and as of right now, we have 14 years on the road representing our church, representing Team Church Tribe. So we're really proud of that, but we've definitely gotten to the point a couple of times. We've gotten to the point where we can't go to more rooms. So we got to that point 7 or 8 years ago, and then we launched Leading Second, and that was kind of an expansion of our ability to help and serve. Yeah. But it's just even gotten there again, where we're not here to
so many days.
Well, and we're not here to build a ministry. We're here to raise up leaders for the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
At the end, the measurement for us, the yardstick for us is not the followers we have. It's not the ministry's metrics. It's not what we measure. We measure effectiveness for the kingdom. Yeah. And we just needed another tool. We needed something else to tell this message in a different way. So that to me was one big motivator. In terms of the person, we can get into some of the book's messages and stuff if you guys want, but to me, there's a lot of people that end up in ministry, but are hired hands and are renters and are active and serving and even on staff, if you will, but they don't really own the ministry as if it were their own. And it's a problem prone to the second chair because we don't serve in the first chair. It's easy when the first chair steps out to launch something, plant something, start something. It's easy to feel like an owner because you birthed the idea, you owned it. Right. But in the second chair, we end up serving something that's not our own. Yeah. And so we need to lead it like we own it, lead it like as if it were our own. And it's just an inherent problem. And I trip over it in my coaching and my work with it. I just trip over it all the time out there.
So we spent some time obviously going back and forth a lot on some of the tension statements. So you've really written the book around these tension statements. What was the heart behind those? Yeah.
So let's just slow down on what a tension statement even is. Like what do you even mean? Because you know what that means now. I did not know what this meant. What I was coached in, publisher said to us, this is maybe slightly different words, my words, but this is what I got from their comments. The worst thing you can do is write an interesting book. The best thing you can do is write a transformational book. So how do you transform? Because, and I'll be honest, why this was so daunting was for me in ministry, I typically experience good results by sitting down, talking to someone and seeing God move in their life as we're talking. The problem with the book is you're not there.
Right.
God's doing a work in their heart and you're not in that room with them. Right. So you have to get the right approach in writing, in the content. And it's a discipline and it's hard. It's really, really hard because it's like, I get it. I want you to get it, but I've got to get the words right if you're going to get this, right now. So attention statement is really what Jesus did. Jesus would walk up to people and he would say, you've heard it said, but I say to you. That is Jesus transforming their thinking. He's taking what's called conventional wisdom. You've heard it said, but I want to say to you, this is my truth. This is the truth. So one of the first tension statements that a reader will encounter in Lead It Like You Own It is we've been sold a lie. Leadership begins with a title. And that is a reasonable thought. Right. Yeah. And I think we kind of assume that I'm a leader when I get a role, a position, a title.
Well, and everybody, that's what you strive for, right?
Yeah. But then we counter it through the tension statement. Leadership can happen anywhere by anyone. So that's just one of them. We have 7 of them in the book. So just taking conventional thoughts that I think we subconsciously believe, let's actually look at it through a different way, through a biblical way, through a kingdom-centered way. And I think that's how you write a book that transforms. So just so everybody knows what a tension statement is, Jesus was, I think, the first and the best at it. And I think that is communication that transforms.
So is there an idea that you think, you're imagining maybe what success of this book is actually going to look like? Can you maybe talk to us a little bit about that? What do you hope it's going to achieve?
Similar to, I think, what we said about the ministry a minute ago, we're not in this to sell books.
Right.
We were just joking earlier. I'm not really entirely sure if I'm going to gun for number one status on whatever. That's really not my marker or my care. I mean that really sincerely.
Yeah.
I hope the book does well. I hope it goes a lot of places, but the metrics to me is not books sold. The metric to me is that it would be used in local churches everywhere to raise up leaders. So the person I had in mind, honestly, like probably the target is actually not like the executive pastor out there or the campus pastor or the long-standing church staff member. Everyone will be blessed, I believe. I believe everyone will be challenged in the book. But to me, who the book is for is the new leader, the one who's coming online, starting to feel like they want to do something for God in ministry. I started thinking, what would I have needed to hear to get it right? Or maybe even, because I actually felt really blessed in this area of my life. What did I hear? That we've got to get into thousands and tens and thousands of leaders' spirits out there. So to me, if you're leading at a significant level in a church, an executive pastor, to me, please read the book. Please, I believe you'll find some gold in it. But to me, this is for you to use in your church to raise up leaders. Quite frankly, I'd love if you'd teach it in your church.
Right.
Don't just let me be the voice. Like, so I was joking with our some people who were coaching this week. This is funny. You're 14 years on the road, and to be really honest, so many of my lessons are just ripped off from my pastor. Like, honest to God, just full disclosure, I've just retaught everything he's taught in my own way. I don't think he knew this. You heard me say this week, but I had literally had an in with his assistant. He had the same assistant for like 20 something years, I want to say. And I had an in with her where anytime he taught something somewhere, she would just automatically send me the notes. It was brilliant. It was like I had bootleg copies of notes everywhere. And so I'm joking by saying my whole ministry is taking something I was taught and resharing it with others. Yeah. So really, to the one out there leading a team, leading a department, leading a campus, what if you became the hero? Yeah. You teach this stuff. Good. This is the Bible. I mean, it's wisdom. It's truth from the Word of God. What if you took it, made it your own, and taught it? Like, to me, if you want a team of owners, I don't know of a book anywhere that looks as comprehensively at ownership as Lead It Like You Own It. Right. I don't know of a book anywhere that comes at it from the angles we come at it from. So to me, take it, be the teacher, own the material as if it were your own, and raise up leaders. Let's not just sell books. I mean, thank God for that, but that's not the metric. Yeah.
Two things here real quick. One's kind of humorous. Lindsay, you talked about being a writer's widow as well. But if anybody watching this and listening to this, if you've ever had to put together a talk or a presentation, you're always running to someone that you trust, someone typically the closest to you, in this case, your spouse. And you're like, hey, what do you think about? Yeah. How does this sound? Yeah. How many times did you have to hear? And I know it was nuanced a little bit because some of it, he was traveling on planes, he was writing, but there had to be moments where you're like, I don't even care who leads it, who likes it, or who owns it at this point.
I just really hope that everybody gets out there and leads it like they own it, because I have been listening to it for like a year. No, honestly though, it's been a joy to see him wrestle through it, and where we ended up versus where we started, I think has been a really beautiful journey. And it's been fun to see, I always tease him because he'll say, I totally did a new message this week. And I'm like, that is literally what you've been saying for 14 years. That was not new. And he's like, well, there's a new story. And I'm like, well, that might have been like a new angle.
So the joke of our marriage is I have no new content.
Yeah. Right.
But I will say though, this book really is a culmination of the 14 years of our traveling and what we've learned, talking to church staff and talking with pastors and being like boots on the ground. And so I'm really proud of you for everything that you have wrestled through to get it to where it is. And I think it's not even where you thought it was going to be. It's even so much better because you worked really hard on it. And
that was my second question. I know how the process was for me, and I went into it with one idea about some things, and then as I got into it and I began to chase the book, my perspective changed. Was there a moment in the writing that even, as you just said, you have no new content, but did you feel like there was somewhere in the moment that even your perspective changed a little bit?
Well, first of all, I think you'd resonate with this. I'm learning it's so common to be in the middle of the process and think this is absolute junk.
Yeah.
Like this is junk.
Yeah.
And that's not like I'm self-deprecating or false humility. I literally was very concerned. I am writing something really terrible here. Honest to God, not false humility. I was really concerned.
Yeah. Because along with that, imposter syndrome sits in. And you're like, who am I to even write this down?
For some reason, my personality type, I don't experience imposter syndrome much.
Yeah.
I think maybe I would have a personality type that's prone to it. I don't.
Okay.
I joke. My brokenness is usually, the way I joke about it is, I know I'm great. I just wonder if you know I'm great.
Yeah.
You know, like that's more of my people pleasing.
I'm so glad you see me the way I see me now.
So that's more of my, my dark side, if you will. I have not dealt with imposter syndrome like I did on this. I literally thought, this is awful. This is actually awful. And they're going to figure out I'm a fraud.
Right.
They're going to figure out I've actually not know what I'm talking about.
But I will say, but there is like actually some, I'm not like saying this jokingly. There's a lot of new stuff. Like, I think the process.
Finally, the credit. 14 years later, she says it.
My heart was just healed a little bit.
No, but I think the process I think what you started with was what you knew. And then the process that they walked you through was the journey of you, like, really having to press to prove what you knew was right.
Okay, so and my daughter is this way. I've learned a lot about myself through our oldest daughter. It's probably the curse of knowledge. If I get it, I think you get it.
Right.
And I think where my communication has been weak in the past is I've kind of assumed if I carry the right spirit, you're going to catch my spirit from me. And I think to a degree that happens in our ministry. I think we have a good influence on rooms and on people, and I'm proud of that. Yeah. But this, as we mentioned earlier, is just a whole new ballgame because your arguments have to be defensible.
Yeah.
And you have to think through everything.
This is in writing. It's forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a wild challenge to think I have to defend everything here.
Yeah. Because I'm not there to defend it.
I'm not there. It's going to, and what if somebody reads something and takes it somewhere?
Well,
and
you have to make sure that they read it in the way that you're writing it. And then it's not just a flippant comment.
So I think getting back to the point, I really honestly felt like I had written junk.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, I found there was a couple moments, but right at the end, I got to the point where I thought, okay, it's good. I'm actually excited again about it. But it was just kind of a wild journey to get there. I'm forgetting the original question, but something else that comes to my mind is that throughout the process, we got good coaching, kind of knew some handles to grab onto. And one was to look at other authors and find your format. Like, how do you want to format this? So in case anybody's interested, here's a little bit of the mechanics of the book. The book is written in 7 parts. Each part has a key tension statement. So each part has a shift we're going to ask the reader to make. But and people probably will get this from the book, but they may not know they're getting it. Within the parts, not each chapter it's not created equal. Typically, the first chapter of each part sets up a problem. Kind of sets up maybe a villain we need to look at or a problem we need to solve. Chapter 2 or 3 is typically the answer to that. And then the rest of the part, there's 7 chapters per part. The rest of the part is backing up those claims, supporting lessons, if you will. Once I got my flow and I kind of figured, okay, that's how I want to flow, then it started to kind of unlock the creative process. And what I was trying to say before that, man, I just felt like I was throwing darts at a blank wall. What are we aiming at here? Yeah. So in case, go hunt through the book and find that. But to me, Lord willing, each part will transform. And then you got to look at even more microscopic, hopefully each chapter. There's 43 of them.
Yeah.
Hopefully
but 43.
Short. Yeah. Hopefully each chapter transforms. So my encouragement to someone who's going to read this is read it slow. Do not read this fast. Don't read it in one sitting.
Yeah, this isn't like a weekend read. This is like a walk through it.
Ideally,
and then come back and walk through it again.
Ideally, you'd take a 7-week journey and read a chapter a day. They're short, they're punchy. You can read it before bed. You can read it when you get up in the morning, or at least we have some pages in there that are called "Stop and Think About It."
Yeah.
Which is, by the way, I heard that as the definition for the word Selah. Selah means to stop and think about it. You know, just kind of ponder. So there's some stop and think about. At least don't go beyond those.
Yeah.
Without absorbing, because it's a pretty dense book. There's a lot in there said quickly that you're going to want to maybe stop and think, how does this apply to my life right now?
And that's what transforms.
And that's what transforms.
Yeah. Do you get the sense that there's going to be an idea or one of those chapters that's going to stand out more than the rest that maybe people are going to be talking about once they've read the book, talked it through with their teams, you know, that kind of thing?
I think there's a lot. I think on a good note, I think that leaders are going to see in part 3 that they're living in a cage, that they're hesitating. Their pastors don't want them to, but they are. I think they're going to see that. The second half of the book is really looking at yourself, looking at the team, looking at your relationship with your pastor. And I think just depending on where someone's at, any one of those are going to be really relevant. Because when we're talking ownership, I'm going to ask the reader, first of all, own how you lead you. So there's a whole self-leadership part. I mean, don't just own your job description, own you.
Yeah.
Who are you in the mirror, not just in the spotlight, you know, would be how we would put it. Or own the condition of your team. Nehemiah had to own the gaps in the wall. And like, where are the gaps on your team right now? Because owners don't just look at their job description, they look at the whole team. And then there's your relationship with your pastor, which is real. It's toward the end. It's really like almost kind of the climax of the book, getting it right with the most consequential relationship you have in ministry. Which is, and are you willing to actually own that? Not just be led, but lead up and own that. So I just, depending where someone's at, any one of those are going to be, I think, a transformational journey. And then I will tell you, the one I want everyone to read, like the one that everyone's going to pass up, that I hope they don't pass up, is actually the epilogue.
Okay.
It's called Ownership's Final Act. So typically, we view ownership's main event as picking something up.
Like, you finally got it.
You got it. It's mine. Oh, I own it. We typically view that as ownership's main event. What if the most significant part of ownership is how you lay it down?
Yeah.
So ownership's final act is laying down what doesn't belong to you anymore.
That's good.
And nothing outside of our salvation and Jesus is eternal. And so everything you own will eventually come to an end. And your ability to lay it down and transition well is incredibly important if you want to see that thing continue. So I won't re-preach the book, but that's like the little like nugget. That's my little signature at the end. It's silently kind of my favorite chapter. And I know like half the readers aren't even going to get to it. And that's okay. But for the ones that find it, I think it's going to be good.
Question, because from my experiences with this, is there a favorite story or a favorite part? And I think you've answered that with maybe that epilogue.
Well, yeah, but then now you're going to quiz me on the book. You know, it's so funny. You write the book, but you kind of forget where you stuffed everything.
Is there in my experiences, I have a favorite story and I have a favorite quote from. So, yours is set up with a lot of stories as well. People are going to be so engaged on this.
I'll tell you a favorite story I found, and then maybe not a story, an illustration I found. Now, I wanted to include some quality sports analogies, but they had to be authentic to me. You know, I'm ministry focused. I'm busy. I work a lot, to be honest. I enjoy sports. I just don't watch a lot. And if you know me, you know that about me. And so I didn't want to pick some, illustration out of Google.
Something about like cricket or something happening somewhere else.
No one need a leading second cricket.
Cricket is an irrelevant sport, and I just didn't want to.
Don't let my friend Travis
shots fired.
Hear you say that.
So, anyways, so I had been at an Oilers game, hockey game,
Okay.
Early 2024.
Okay.
And I was there the night, I believe his name is Connor McDavid. Am I right on that?
You are actually.
Okay.
That's in Canada. The Oilers are in Canada.
Yes,
just
in
to
Edmonton,
clarify.
in Edmonton, yes.
For the Americans.
In Canada. I was there the night he crossed the threshold. It was right at the end of the season. He crossed the threshold of 100 assists.
Okay.
It's a very elite club that only a few have ever made it in 100 assists. So I want you to think about this. Assists is helping somebody else score.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Right? Passing the puck
Yeah.
so somebody else can take the shot and score. And so they track that, number one, which is interesting to me. And then to achieve 100 in a season is a very elite. So I was there.
Yeah, because there's only like 6 goals scored in hockey all season. Anyway.
Yes, the stadium erupted when everyone kind of knew like this is probably the night it was going to happen, you know. Well, then I dug into that stat. So Wayne Gretzky had 11 seasons where he crossed 100 assists.
Jeez.
So he's the greatest hockey player of all time. And I read an article that took all the major stats from all sports. We're talking Babe Ruth's home run record, all of it. And it was a whole spreadsheet of math on how significant each statistic was. Okay, so is this looking, and Wayne Gretzky has more assists than any other player has points.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so he has more assists than any other player has points.
Wow.
It is considered mathematically the second most impressive statistic in all of sports history. Second only to Babe Ruth's home run record.
Wow.
That's it. And so more even than what he scored. His assist record, you want to talk leading second, setting up somebody else
To win. Yes.
and to succeed. So that's tucked away in the chapter about owning your team, because you can win alone. You can win by yourself and still lose.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can win in your role and your team still lose. Owners take ownership of the whole team.
That's great.
And in the same chapter, we talk about Felix Hernandez on the Mariners.
Yes.
Which from Seattle, originally, and grew up watching the Mariners, late 90s. Still probably got to be some of the best season of Mariners
baseball. Yes. Not baseball as a whole, but Mariners baseball. No.
Mariners have very rarely participated in great baseball as a whole. But Felix Hernandez would be one, early mid 2000s,
great.
One of the greatest pitchers certainly to ever put on a Mariners uniform.
Yes.
He's a Cy Young winner. He has a perfect game in baseball, yada, yada, yada. But in Felix Hernandez's 15 years on the Mariners never went to the postseason. So you think about that, one of the greatest pitchers, but the team never won. You can win alone and still lose.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting story, not to throw shade at it, but it's an interesting story to consider.
Yeah.
Am I winning, but my team is still losing? Should I be taking ownership
That's great.
of the whole team?
Yeah.
I've got more, but those are a couple.
Yeah, well, that is one of the tension
those
statements.
those are new things that I'm learning. I'm really impressed.
After all these years.
I mean, I'm going to go around telling everybody that you're a hockey fan now.
I do consider myself, this is probably going to tick Seattle people off, I do consider myself now an Oilers fan.
Wow. There you go.
Well, when you're on a monumental night like that.
I mean, I'm there. Like, I'm good.
You're just there.
I found my team. I never
caught up
once,
in the moment
I never
of
once
what's
went to a
happening.
Kraken game. So
the book's coming out. What would be, what would be something that people can really do to support the book? Obviously, getting a hold of it for themselves. What are some of the ways that they can do that? But then what's something then they can do to actually maybe get it into the hands of other people?
yeah, I mean, first of all, I hope people will buy 20.
Yes.
We're just not trying to sell books here. I hope people will buy one for every leader on their team and every new leader in their church. Honestly, that's where we wrote it for. Take every new leader on this 7-week journey. Walk them through it, like meet with them.
Yeah.
Make an investment of time into this person. I believe by God's Spirit, you will see a shift in their life right from the get-go. People did this for us. People walked us through, maybe not as systematically,
Sure.
but we had mentors and people that walked us through these things. and this is my package with a bow on it to you. Like walk your leaders through this. We're also launching with the releaser, we're launching a signature online course that a leader could show in a leadership meeting. So we've kind of distilled each part down to a 30-minute talk. It's very, very distilled. There's a lot more in the book, but you can walk through in a leadership meeting over 7 weeks with a group, with a team, with leadership development, semester, whatever.
Excellent.
You guys have done summer school, winter school over the years. I don't know if you still do it, but those moments, those would be great times to walk through some of those lessons. We also will be throughout this year releasing other versions of courses as well. More on that to come. LeadItLikeYouOwnIt.com will be kind of the house for all of this. But man, for a leader could immediately get books into the hands of their team and then walk through the courses.
And is there going to be an audio?
There is.
And who do you have recording that?
I want you
he
to.
He wants you to do it, but I think it'd be too confusing.
I think half the people would be like, I didn't know he's British.
I mean, there's worse things.
It sounds like Jon may be available. Jon, unfortunately,
so he has done this, by the way. He's recorded one.
I did the audio for my book, so we're going to need a translator anyway for mine. So maybe we should have just had you do mine.
Yeah, we could do like a second version, like a refresh.
Second edition. That's sounds.
I don't
way
have
better.
a release for that. Probably this fall.
Yeah.
Is probably what we're looking at, but there will be an
kind of a
audiobook.
phase
As
2.
of this moment, I am recording it. God help us all.
I'm glad you are. I think I would want to hear it. I like hearing.
She just likes my voice.
I do love hearing your voice, but I think
not
that
Jon.
having a book in your voice and come from you is really important. So.
Yeah, and that process is fun because you're reading what you wrote, what's been edited, what you've edited, what you've rewritten, and now you're reading it going, I could have said that so much better. Why did I say it that way?
So recently we were all at a coaching event and I had some of you guys all help me teach some of the principles out of
brave,
the book.
by the way.
Yeah.
Wow. Book's not even out and you're letting other people teach it.
Yeah.
That's the kind of leader we're working with.
Here's the
right
worst
here.
part. I already had submitted the book. It's already like in final edits. I can't change anything.
Pens down.
Pens down. It's called pens down. You can't change anything. And then everybody taught it better. I'm thinking, well, dang it. I could have said that and I could have said that. And
Yes.
so now I'm just depressed.
Now you understand why books, the revised version comes out.
Yes, I will be releasing a revised version in the future, written by the
6.
leading second coaching team, and it's going to be way better than this.
so
No,
good.
but honestly, I'm sitting there thinking, dang it, I could have said it so much better.
I have read the book, and as someone who has been in second chair leadership for over 30 years, it's over 30 years late for me. I wish I would have had this. If I could tell anyone listening, watching today,
thank you.
when you see this book, get it into your hands. You need it, and get it into the hands of your young leaders coming up.
Yeah.
Because a few of us did have some decent mentors around us,
Right.
but we didn't have social media screaming at us. We didn't have all these
know it.
messages coming at us of what all the jacked up versions of leadership are.
Right.
And you have written a quality, biblically based, scripturally sound. I don't want to call it a manual because it's much more than that, but it is something that leaders that are in the middle of the game right now and getting into the game can pick it up. It'll change their world. I will, after all of these years, I'll be a product of the book. And so I can't stress enough how much people need to get it in their hands and get a
I have 2 Genesis moments that I'm trying to recreate. And I feel so helpless because I don't know what people will do with this. For a lot of people, this will just kind of be a blue book on their shelf. But here's 2 moments I'm trying to recreate. Moment number 1, we had a speaker whom all of us would know, was at our church years and years and years ago.
We were just newly married.
Yeah, a few years in,
Wow.
And this person was teaching our staff on a couple of these principles would have shown up in the book. Was teaching, and honestly, it was one of those moments where I can authentically say, I walked into the room one way and I walked out different. I was different.
Yeah.
Something in me had shifted. I think God was just doing a work in me.
Yeah.
But I had experienced a shift. And that's not every meeting. Let's not be so full of ourselves. I think this happens all the time. This was a special moment, especially for me anyways. And I walked out of there very different. Well, I didn't know what else to do. I go home and of course, like we do now, post it or it didn't happen. So I made, it wasn't even a Facebook post. It was like a Facebook note or something. It was a feature that doesn't even exist anymore. I just wrote this thing and posted it, just sharing my heart for the day, whatever. Well, so years later, with some polish, that would become our leading second creed. So I basically walked out of there and wrote down the leading second creed. And then when I look, so I didn't attempt to recreate the creed in the book. I wasn't even really thinking about the creed when I was writing the book. But when I went back and looked at the book at the end, and then I compared it to the creed, it basically says everything.
That's awesome.
The creed says, like they are basically mirrors. And I realized this is just what I've been trying to say ever since that day that I was in that.
I told you, you don't have anything new.
Nothing new. And she's back.
So
So to me, I'm trying to recreate the shift.
Yeah.
That was the prayer. Moment number 2, a little more serious, and it's found in the introduction of the book, was because they ask you when you're writing the book, the very first thing you do, what is it?
Inspiration story.
Inspiration story. So they ask you to write at the beginning, what's the moment where you knew you had to write this book? Well, it wasn't where I knew I had to write this book, but for me, it was where did this message get tested? Where did I have to prove I was an owner?
It's great.
Right. So for me, it's when I got let go from my church staff role at Champion Center. 2011, financial, I tell the story in the book, financial reasons. But I was given the rare privilege from heaven to put up or shut up, honestly.
Yep.
So good.
And it was hard and it was difficult. It was one of the great gates of our life we had to walk through to show we meant business when we said we were all in for God's house. And it got tested in every single way. The house torn down to the studs and rebuilt, sort of an idea. And I would pray. And I believe if someone will do and live out the principles of God's word in this book, I believe they would pass that test. I am that confident in that book. Someone who applies, this is not my words, applies God's principles in this book, I am that confident they would pass that test.
Wow.
Right.
So that's what I want. I want people to be found faithful. And I want people to be found as owners in God's house.
And they have a resource. You have this resource now. And again, it's a 25, 30 year overnight success story of writing a book is what it is, but it is. So
if you ever hear someone say that, the response is, it was a heck of a long night.
Yes.
If it was an overnight, it was a heck of a long night.
25, 30, 40 year night here to get to this point. We celebrate you. We are so excited for the world to get to see this. I've seen glimpses of it from the actual product to it being lived out as well. Jon has, and we are so excited that this book is going to get into the hands of so many people and what's going to happen in their life, in their leadership, and in their team. Just one more time, give us the rundown of where to get it, what to do with it, and the resources and all that'll go with it.
Well, as we roll it out here, it'll be available everywhere books are sold. Okay. Digital and in print, of course. The home for the book is leaditlikeyouownit.com. So all resources, online courses, podcast interviews will all be linked back there. Okay. So that's its home.
That's it.
And we're so excited.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Get that first it.
Matters.
Lead it like you.
If you ever wondered if you mattered. If you ever wondered if you mattered in ministry, the word it matters. It matters. It Lead it like you
own it. Grab a copy and thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Lindsay. excited to see what God's going to do with this.
And thank you to our Leading Second Tribe for leaning into the podcast. I pray this has just been a fun, helpful episode. We're kicking off what is going to be a series of podcasts, interviews, and episodes unpacking various areas of the book. Yeah. I hope you're not sick of it, because here it comes. We're gonna
just getting started.
We're just getting started. We're gonna talk all about it, and I truly pray it blesses your life, builds leaders in your church, and that we would all be found faithful in our churches. God bless you. Leading Second, we love you.
It's our honor to serve churches and leaders across the globe. We equip ministry leaders with the coaching, events, and resources needed to embrace their calling, get it right with their pastor, and lead in an uncommon way. You can visit our website, leadingsecond.com, to learn more about how we can come alongside you as you lead from the middle, from the second chair, for the second chair.